What's poppin', everybody? I am the Shadow Sage, and this is part 10 of Naruto Befriended Kurama as a child. And if you do enjoy the video, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see part 11, you can help the video get to the like goal of 500 likes. And remember to join the Discord server, links in the description down below. And also shout out to V2 for making the brand new channel banner, you can check it out. And he's told me that he's open to making channel banners for other Naruto creators. So if you want a great channel banner, just check him out. He's actually really great. I'm gonna link his Discord down below, so you can go message him if you want a channel banner. And now without any further ado, let's get into this video.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
So in the previous part, Naruto and Sasuke leave the village to find Itachi, and Itachi dies and he gives Naruto Shisui's eyes, and he gives Sasuke his own eyes, along with some other stuff, so I recommend watching the previous part to see what happened. And during this time, Jiraiya went to the Rain Village to fight the Akatsuki leader, but he passed away and died in action. And when Naruto and Sasuke get back to the village, they're pardoned for their crimes, killing Danzo and leaving the village, because they're obviously valuable assets, and Tsunade doesn't really believe that they're guilty. She has faith in Naruto and Sasuke. And also when they get back, Tsunade does tell Naruto about Jiraiya's death. And when Naruto tells Tsunade that, if Jiraiya was the 5th Hokage, she would never let Tsunade go on a suicide mission. But this time, Tsunade isn't having any of that shit, because she's still kind of pissed at Naruto for leaving the village. So she says that, well, maybe if you didn't just up and disappear, you'd still be here with us.
Fatality.
And as soon as Tsunade says this, she knows she fucked up, and these words cut deep into Naruto's heart, and he runs away with tears streaming down his face, instead of just walking away sadly like in canon. And that's where we left off in the previous part, so now let's get into part 10 of this series. Wow, part 10, that's just crazy, but yeah, let's get into it. So basically, as Naruto's crying when he leaves the Hokage's office, he's headed back to his apartment just to be alone. And Sasuke, despite being a massive asshole, he has his own goals. He needs to kill the elders. He still needs to console Naruto. And as Sasuke walks out the office, Tsunade wants to stop him because she needs to ask questions about why they left the village and why they killed Danzo. But she just emotionally scarred Naruto, and she can't bear to keep his boyfriend away from him. And so Sasuke heads over to Naruto's apartment where he is crying, and Sasuke's gonna knock on the door, and Naruto doesn't answer. And him being a little less aware per se than Naruto's other friends, he'll just kick the door in and barge in. And as Sasuke walks into Naruto's bedroom, he sees him with his face stuffed in his pillows and unreacting to Sasuke's rude entrance. Then Sasuke awkwardly sits down on Naruto's bed next to him, and as he opens his mouth, no words come out. He has no clue what to say to his friend. He was never good with words like how Naruto was, nor comforting either. So then Sasuke just takes a deep breath in and says, "Look, it's not your fault, Naruto. If anything, it's mine. You were busy helping me and I took you away from Jiraiya, so it's my fault." And Naruto doesn't really accept that answer, he just sits there in silence, and Sasuke decides to give up and just give Naruto company. And as night falls, Sasuke has to go home, he can't just stay there the entire night, and that's when Naruto goes out for his popsicle, cries on the bench for a little bit, meets Iruka, and then gets comforted by him, and barely avoids the path of becoming Sasuke and totally emo. Thank goodness he didn't become emo. So after all that happens, Naruto goes back home, he has to sleep. Don't know if you guys know what sleeping is. My sleep schedule is all fucked up, but Naruto does have a pretty good sleep schedule. He's a growing boy. He's 16 years old. He's a shinobi. He's gotta get his sleep, so he has to go back to sleep. Well, that was a pretty weird tangent. Back to the what if though. So now also in the dead of night, Sasuke, he's completing his revenge. He attacks the elders and demands answers, only to receive empty excuses, and so he decides to use Amaterasu on them, killing them all, and leaving behind literally zero evidence, because Amaterasu burns everything until it's gone, so yeah. And when they wake up, Tsunade, even though she hates the elders, is still fuming to see her entire council dead, and the main two suspects for the two new murders are Naruto and Sasuke, because they killed Danzo, so that just makes them the new suspects. And when she calls Naruto and Sasuke into her office, Naruto notices that Sasuke is just a little bit chirpier than he is normally. Well, actually Sasuke can't really be chirpy. At the moment, he's as chirpy as you emoji can be. So basically, Naruto can tell that something is going on, and so he asks Kurama to sense Sasuke's emotions very carefully. And as Tsunade grills them, she asks them why they killed Danzo, and they tell her how Danzo attacked them, but at the end, Sasuke doesn't tell the truth. He just says that Danzo died in battle and never talks about how he genjutsu Danzo and learned all the information about the Uchiha coup d'etat. And when Naruto hears Sasuke lie at the end, he's okay with this lie because it's probably not the best time to tell Tsunade about the Uchiha coup d'etat. And Tsunade's reaction to Sasuke's story is that she's really pissed off at Danzo. She clenches her fist and says it's probably a good thing that the guy is dead. Because remember, she never liked Danzo in the first place, and the fact that he attacked Naruto and Sasuke just pisses her off even more. But after they wrap up everything about Danzo, Tsunade starts asking about the 2 dead elders that died the previous night. And when Sasuke answers the question, Kurama tells Naruto that he can sense Sasuke lying about not killing them, and Naruto can clearly tell that something sus is going on, and he's getting kinda pissed, and so in an angry and assertive tone he says Sasuke, and then releases some of his chakra like how Hashirama and Tobirama did in the Uzumaki shrine. And as soon as Sasuke feels the air thicken and a massive presence pushing towards him from his side, his eyes turn to the internal Mangekyo Sharingan and releases his presence too. And although Sasuke's chakra reserves pale in comparison to Naruto, his visual prowess makes up for it, and Tsunade feels the sheer pressure coming from these two and is like, oh shit, should I really be Hokage? Nah, just kidding. But she knows she is outmatched by far, but she decides to assert her seniority and she yells at them and tells them to pipe down, and despite being much stronger, they both inherently fear her, just like how Hokage Naruto feared Hinata. And so the two of them pipe down, and when Tsunade feels all the pressure in the air disperse, she looks up and she sees that Sasuke's eyes are different, they have a different pattern. And she's a Senju who was very old, much battle experience with many Uchiha most likely. And on top of that, she's Hashirama's granddaughter. I mean, obviously she would know stories about the Mangekyo Sharingan, you know, Madara. Obviously they were very close when Tsunade was growing up, that was made quite obvious. So yeah, she's definitely not retarded when it comes to that stuff. So basically her gaze goes from serious to even more serious. What's more than serious? I guess stern. Her gaze goes from serious to stern, and she's like, Sasuke, what the hell happened, and don't you dare lie to me. And Naruto looks at Sasuke with a very stern look in his eyes as well. Sasuke's like, oh well, I might as well let it all out. So he tells Tsunade about how he learned the truth, then killed Danzo, about how he then left the village with Naruto to find Itachi, how they found him, and how Itachi gave him his eyes and killed himself by Sasuke's own hand, and how they came back, and how Sasuke killed the elders. And after the whole story is laid out, Tsunade sits down in her chair and just thinks for a moment because it's a lot to take in, and the first thing she says is like, I can't believe that old man. I can't believe Sensei let Danzo do that. I'm very sorry, Sasuke. And basically, after hearing Sasuke's story, she's kind of on Sasuke's side right now. She's not happy about him killing the elders, but she doesn't blame him at the moment. So then after that, she says that Danzo's death could be covered up as self-defense, and that the other elders' death could be covered up as an unsolved murder because there's technically no evidence. The only reason that Naruto and Sasuke were suspects were because they killed Danzo, and that made them suspects by default. So then they just like wrap up the legalities of everything, you know, make sure that they're not like put in jail. But that's when Naruto gets called into the cipher code to decode the message that Jiraiya left on Fukasaku's back. And basically cracking the code goes pretty much the same as in canon. They crack it, but they do have trouble with it, but they do find out that the real one is not among them, and obviously it does not make sense to them at the moment, but they will find out eventually. And after this is when the training arc would take place, but Naruto has no need to learn Sage Mode. He's fought Sage Mode Jiraiya many times and won, because KCM just overpowered, so he just decides to stay in the village and train with Kurama and Sasuke. And as they train, they're laying in wait for the man who killed Naruto Sensei. And during this training period, Naruto's mastered KCM, so he can use full 9 tails of KCM, and he can use the QB avatar's head. Not the full QB avatar, but just the head that he uses a lot in Boruto, and they also used a lot in the early war arc. And as Naruto and Sasuke are training together, Naruto has KCM activated, and he senses incredible malice coming from 8 different entities. And the reason it's 8 is because you have the 6 paths of pain, Konin, and then the real Nagato, so that makes it 8. And so Naruto, who sensed it, turns to Sasuke and says, Sasuke, it's showtime. So then they speed towards these 6 paths of pain, and I'm gonna disregard Konan because she was pretty useless during the entire fight. She wasn't even there in the fight, or at least in the main fight, she wasn't there. So I'm gonna disregard her and just say that she's not gonna be in the main fight either. And this time, Pain won't kill a bunch of civilians because Naruto's already on his ass. He doesn't need to kill them because remember in canon, he didn't want to kill the civilians. He just wanted to find where Naruto was. And torturing them to death is one way he could find where he was, because remember, kids, killing is okay if you torture them. Yes, I know, wise words from the Shadow Sage. Keep those close to heart, kids. And as the fight starts, Naruto realizes something. It's that the malice that he feels is kind of different from the other malice that he felt in the other Akatsuki members, other than Itachi and the other villains that he fought. This malice, it's cold, but it has a sense of warmth behind it. It's a malice without evil, and this confuses Naruto. And this man that is attacking the village, killed his sensei, and trying to kill him, is confusing to Naruto because you expect this person to have a lot of malice, actually, but he doesn't feel that coming from from this person, so obviously it confuses him. And once the fight actually starts, the fight goes a lot differently because Naruto is way stronger and he has Sasuke to help. And in the fight they have the same exchanges. Pain asks Naruto how he will make peace, and Naruto doesn't have any answers. And eventually Naruto will win the fight without going crazy this time and going all 6 tails, and eventually taken over by Kurama almost. And this time with his much greater sensory abilities in KCM, he can just sense where the real Nagato is right away, and he goes there and he asks Sasuke to go there by himself. He did the same thing in canon. When Shikamaru's dad and Ino's dads were there, they asked to go with Naruto and he said no, I want to go alone. So he'll ask to go alone without Sasuke, just like in canon. And when Naruto meets Nagato, he basically has the same interactions they did in canon, and so basically Nagato is convinced to be good because Naruto's talking no jutsu. But this time, since no one has basically died, Nagato doesn't have to use Rune Rebirth and sacrifice himself, so that means he's still alive, so he decides to turn himself into Konoha. And if they can forgive Orochimaru, who was like purely evil, purely selfish, they can definitely forgive Nagato and Konan, who had like good intentions in mind, just misguided. And they've showed a bunch of remorse, so that's another reason to let them in. And since Obito is pissed about Nagato's betrayal in canon, he'll be even more pissed this time because, it's more than just betrayal. He completely joined the enemy. And since he's with Konoha, he can't get the Rinnegan either. And that's gonna wrap up part 10. If you did enjoy the video, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And once again, join the Discord server, links in the description down below. And thank you for taking 10 minutes out of your day and spending it with me. And like always, remember to stay safe and have a great day. I'm the Shadow Sage, signing off.